I always start with the photograph of the taxi. And this is the inside of a taxi. So you may not have known what it was when I put it up on the screen. But this is a wonderful reminder of what we're doing here. Most of us see our businesses in this way. We think about the dashboard, we think about the horn, we think about the gear shift or the wonderful technology we have to get around. And no matter how long we've been at it, no matter how good we are at marketing, the tendency is to forget that most of our clients see our business this way. And the things that are important to us on the inside of the cab are very different from the things that are important to our clients, our buyers, our audiences on the outside of the cab. Their main focus, right, is it yellow? Is there a big sign up top that says taxi? Because if it isn't, no matter how great things are on the inside, I'm not getting in that car and handing you my money or handing you my credit card if I don't see taxi on the top and it isn't yellow. And so it's very easy to lose that perspective. There's this idea in marketing and in academics in general called the curse of knowledge, where the more you know about the thing that you do, you literally the less you are able to perceive what it is like to not know that. Like you're literally not able in surveys to imagine how people think who don't know the things that you already know. And so your knowledge takes away your knowledge of what it's like to not know. So we're here today primarily to compensate for each other in that gap, to help each other who are used to seeing this know what it looks like from outside the taxi. We're doing that primarily with websites. I think we have one other sales tool to look at today, which I love. A couple of core ideas as we do this exercise that are kind of drive the work. The first big assumption is that the point of your website is to get visitors to act. So usually there's something you want them to do. You're selling something, you're trying to get a sign up, you're trying to at least get them to read. I think most of us don't run like pure entertainment companies here where we just want eyeballs or visits. We want them to take some kind of action. So we're assuming that about the website, and then we're assuming that action follows clarity. So people are more likely to take action if they understand a couple of things very clearly about the action that we're asking them to take. And I'll get into that for us in just a moment. Just very briefly, this is a place on my website. If you want more of sort of the ideas that I'm doing, what we're doing here is a very broken down version of the website review in the reality check, which is a video series I have on my website. You can go sign up for free. If you're into that, hopelessmarketing.com/reality. You can get all of those videos. It's about an hour if you do the whole thing in one sitting, or you can do it in 15-minute chunks over about a week. And that's just a self-guided marketing review where you can go, how well is my marketing working? Where are the gaps? What do I want to do to move forward? So I like to call that out at the beginning, so you have another way to be with me. A couple of rules of engagement before we open up and start interacting with each other. I ask that you don't explain the tool that you brought. I've already asked you to not tell us what we do yet. I also ask that if we pop up your website or your sales tool or whatever, you don't explain it initially. Some of the most valuable feedback you will get is just when people look at it cold without any insight from you. Then we'll let you explain it later. And you'll probably get additional good feedback based on that. But the first time, don't give us any explanation. Let us just take a look at it and say what we see. And that'll be very helpful to you if we're reviewing your things today. Second guideline is clarity is kindness. So we're going to try to be as clear with one another as we can. That includes me clearly saying, hey, I don't get this. It confuses me or whatever. I'm going to try to be clear with kindness, but we're also going to recognize that being clear is in itself a kindness. And let's agree now that we're okay with that. We're ready to receive that. Any concerns or objections there? Seeing none, I'll just note that we honor the friction. Friction is good. Friction is how we grow and learn. Different perspectives, different personalities rubbing together. This is the thing you will never get from your ChatGPT or your LLM that just agrees with you all the time. And so the big advantage of us sitting here together with other human beings is that friction. So we're going to be grateful for that. We're going to dig into it. Sound okay? Marvelous. Let me give you just the 3 questions that we're going to ask, and then I'll run a quick demo on myself. I always show you something of mine first, and then so that nobody else has to go first and be the first person under the spotlight, and then we'll move forward from there. So 3 questions that we're going to use as we review: action, reason, and person is the mnemonic you need to remember. You could also think of them as the what, the why, and the who. So what is this thing that we're looking at? And I'm going to put them on the screen momentarily. What is it asking us to do? What's the action that we're being asked to take? What is the reason that we would want to do it? And then who is the person that is being asked to do it? So we're going to ask those 3 questions and see if we can answer them without any guidance from the person who owns the website or the tool that we put up. What's the action we're being asked to take? What's the reason we would want to take it? Who is the person we expect to take it? And that'll get our responses going. And then you all are welcome to respond in other ways and say whatever else you think might be helpful. I'm going to put the order here in the chat. I just realized I didn't do that yet. And I'm putting links to all of them. I don't see Cindy here, so we might skip her unless she zips in the next few minutes. But I've got you in just sort of in the order that you signed up and submitted. I'm going to screen share all of these, so you all don't have to do anything except look and respond. You can respond verbally or in the chat, but sometimes it's nice to have the links on yourself too. And I'm also going to put the questions here because I'm about to take these slides off. What is the action? What is the reason? And who is the person? And now you'll have those in the chat. All right, and having done that, I'm going to move my screen share out of the slides and over to the website. And I'm going to put a piece of my own up first, and we're going to move very quickly through this just as a demo because we got plenty of good stuff to look at today that doesn't belong to me. But we're going to start with, this is the sign up page for Just Business. If I move it over here like this, do you all still see that? Did the screen share? Does everybody see that? Give me a thumbs up or something. Thumbs down. All right. Thank you, John. Let me unshare it and try again. I shared the wrong thing. Here we go. That should do it, right? You all see the Just Business sign-up page? All right, wonderful.
Yes.
So let's ask the 3 questions, and I'm going to let you all answer them. You can seriously just jump on the mic. That's probably easier than the chat with a relatively small group like this. Just as a practice, and then we'll move on. What is the action that you're being asked to take when you're on this website?
Put in your email.
Wonderful. You figured it out. I feel good. I'm 1 for 1 so far. But yeah, put your email in the box. This one's real obvious, real easy. What is the reason that you're being given that you would want to put your email in the box?
You support the cause of
I'll take
Just
that.
Business,
Yeah.
lead with values.
This one's a little more intuitive. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
Leading from to learn how to lead from your values, maybe.
Fair enough. I'll take that. Oh yeah. I see. Yeah. Cause you're seeing that right here in the copy. Nice. And then what is the person that this is aimed at? The person that I'm expecting will take those steps.
Person that has a business that they think is just.
Wonderful. Okay. Anybody want to add anything? Good. You see how it works. We're going to keep it that quick on mine because I don't think I need the feedback, but I wanted to go first and give the demo. And even hearing you all say that much gives me a sense of like how clear this is. Are they getting like you absolutely saw what I wanted you to do right away? Did you see the reason for it? You had to think a little bit. So even that feedback is very valuable to me. So let's move on. We're going to look at Paula's first, if that's okay. Can we do that, Paula?
Sure.
All right. Let's do it. I'll keep the mics open and you all are welcome to talk as you want. When I show these, I start with what we call the sort of the top section above the fold, the hero section that shows up on the screen immediately. And because this one is very spacious and roomy and relaxing, and there's not a lot of content here, I would expect that a viewer will probably scroll down. If there was a whole lot going on the screen, I would not even scroll because I'm really trying to figure out if you all can understand what Paula's doing, or if Paula wants to know if you can understand her website within like 60 seconds, because that's how long most people will stay if you're lucky before they decide whether to hang out or not. So I'll scroll a little bit because most people would probably come about this far. And that would probably be about all they would do before they decide, is this for me? Am I in the right place? Or do I want to hit the back button? So we'll give you that much. And if anybody wants to try and answer action, reason, or person, go for it. And we'll chat from there.
I think the first thing that strikes me is this would be somebody that cares about purpose and commitment.
Okay. So you're talking to the person, obviously.
So not seeing an action right away.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Focus largely on the social side, right?
Yeah. Social
Impact on
impact is
social.
clear. Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard for me to ask you what the reason is to take the action, if we feel that the reason isn't really clear.
Mhm.
I will say that as a person who looks at a lot of websites, and I'm sure most of you do too, because we spend a lot of time in front of our computers, my brain is trained to look for the call to action up here. Most websites, that's where it is. Your brain, if you don't know this, your eyes move across any new page that you're seeing for the first time in a Z shape. So you'll start at the top left, you'll scan very quickly across like this, and then you'll go down to the bottom left corner, and then you'll go over here. So knowing that those turning points are, this is really valuable real estate because your eye lingers there for a while because you're turning as you scan. So we have a tendency to put calls to action up here. I do like that contact us is up there, Paul, because that, I'm guessing that's the call, like that's the closest that I see to a call to action on this page. There are two verbs, contact and discover. So I'm guessing those, if you want me to do something, it's one of those things.
Benji, you
So-
got a question.
Yeah.
Is the call to action on a homepage of a website to read more and continue learning rather than an actual action like reach out?
It could be. What I think is important is to decide, what I would say to Paula, like we'll let her speak in a minute and talk about her goals, and maybe that'll change our perspective on what we're saying right now. But what I would say is probably you want to make a choice about what you are hoping people will do on this page. It could be to dive deeper. Most people will immediately go for the throat, right? Like contact us, set up a meeting, buy our thing or whatever. Like they'll immediately go for that, what I would call like a hard conversion, a hard call to action that makes them money or that gives them the thing they really want. Sometimes if what you're selling is a little softer or is going to take more learning, then the call to action would be what you said, Chris. Like, now that you've read this, I want you to read this other thing. But you're still giving them a specific place to go so that they know how to move through the website. My brain doesn't want to work too hard, and it's really hard for me to look at something and go, what am I supposed to do next? Like, I won't make the decision. But if you tell me what to do next, I don't have to think about it, and I'm more likely to make it. Paul, I think I will ask you that first one. What do you want people to do, if you've thought about it, when they land on this page?
Well, this was tricky for me as well because I'm not really selling anything. It's a portfolio site essentially.
Mm.
So that's it. It's to talk about some of the things that I'm working on, but not necessarily to sell. So if I meet somebody someplace and they want to know more about what I'm thinking about, the work that I've been doing, that they can go to the site. And it's a bit more interesting than just a LinkedIn profile.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because the work that I've done has not been straightforward. It's been a series of smaller projects.
Yeah.
And this is a very broad area. And I think a lot of people just don't understand it anyway.
Yeah.
So I was hoping to explain it better.
Yeah. Okay. Hearing that little story helps. I always like to ask people how someone gets to your website, because no one ever shows up on your website cold. that nobody ever just sits down and says, today I think I'll type knowledgeForImpact.com then and see where it leads me. They're at the level that many of us are at, where we're doing a lot of kind of face-to-face individual interactions. You're either meeting that person and sending them there, or maybe it's being shared somewhere in another website and they're being pointed back. And those two are very different experiences. But I hear you say it's almost entirely the first one. They have some sort of sense already of who you are and what you're about. And they're landing here to learn. So I think I would give it, because it is a portfolio site, you're not necessarily trying to sell anything. Is that true? Or would you like them to hire you or to join an email list or take some sort of concrete action?
Well, I would like them to think of, if they've got some project that aligns with this, I would like them to contact me, and perhaps we would work on something together, or they would hire me if they have a company and they're looking to be more impactful, but don't quite know how to move forward with it.
Yeah. Okay. Then you need to tell me the problem you solve. That'll be the why.
Mhm.
What is the problem that you solve, and then what is the first step for me to get that problem solved? And that is and then you decide. To Chris's point, the first step might be call you and have a meeting, or you might genuinely feel that the first step is you really got to read some more about what I do before you can call me. Often people would give both. Like, you have contact us up here. If you look at my homepage right now, I have get a meeting with me up here so that anybody can find it at any time. But my call to action in the center of the page, which is the other place it'll often live, is go learn more about my process and how I work.
Oh, okay.
Because I am that way. I think that people are going to, what I do is complex enough. I think people are going to need to read a little more than one page, or that call is going to be beneficial for them.
One thing that I had been toying with, where this is advancing the social impact vision, I was also looking to put advancing the firm's social impact vision.
Uh-huh.
Because it's not like a personal thing. It's focused on businesses.
That is very helpful. I was going to ask you more about the who,
Yes.
because I think we did best on the who question when we tried to answer this, but the who is still very general. I think we nailed the value, right? And you have nailed the value here. Social impact, purpose, all of those words are all over here. Certain people are going to be drawn to those words. I am drawn to those words.
Yeah.
But you haven't told us if it's a company, a leader in a company. Do they have a certain role? Are they an individual who's just curious? So that would be helpful. And probably what I would say, and then I'll try not to talk too much longer, but I would, if I were revisiting this, or if I were doing this for you, I would start with the who. Who's the person that you usually serve? What is the problem that person's have? And then can I broadcast as clearly as possible, either literally in this splash area, or if you like to keep this very kind of relaxing, easy to look at area, then immediately when we get down here, talk about that person's problem and how you're going to solve it, and then give me something I can click in order to take the first step towards a solution.
Benjie, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
I really like what's coming up in the blue, and it seems like these are really key reasons.
It's true.
But I have to wait for it. And
Yeah.
it feels like
Okay.
if I could see it all, because there are some really powerful statements there, that somebody may not wait for it. And so they may miss the very key one that's stirring within them.
I
Okay.
often notice when I do these things that it's more about sequence. I'm glad you said that, John, because you have a lot of the benefits are here in the blue. Yeah, a lot of these are benefits, so you could back those into what's the problem that causes them to look for the benefit. Some people will lead with the benefit instead of the problem. Either is doable. The
So
problem is
do you
just
have a
more complex.
suggestion for, should I include them all, or some way to speed this up? Or any suggestion of how to do it a little differently? So
Up here,
that
you need one. You need one sort of primary problem or
Okay.
result that you achieve. So, and you do have several here. So, the problem is you don't have a structure or a framework. The problem is your mission is not embedded in the business every way. And even you can even tell me how that feels. They feel like they're failing, or they feel like they're not having the impact they want, or something like that. Lack of scalable processes is a different problem. So that probably has more with the ability to grow or to do more things. Trust with customers is a different problem. The pain there is probably a lack of sales or something like that. So my instinct would be to kind of choose one, and this is the work I do. This is why it's always strategy first. These conversations are never really about a website. They're about what market are you in and what makes you the right choice in that market. And answering that question it happens at the whiteboard, not at the computer. And then you come back to the computer and figure out how to turn it into a message. But once you've done that work, this is where the message goes, or potentially even here.
Okay. Do you think that this is too much? That it's too open? And
Yeah.
thinking about,
Yeah, this is an opinion and not a
Yes.
fact, but my opinion is yes.
okay,
I like how this makes me feel,
uh-huh,
but in a way, so what? Right? The only person who's scrolling past this is somebody who already knows that they're looking for knowledge for impact. All this tells my brain is I found the right place.
okay,
And honestly, Paula, if I don't remember this is your company, it doesn't even tell me that, because I met Paula. I didn't meet Knowledge for Impact.
right,
So when I land here, it gives me a feeling, but it doesn't actually tell me what you do.
right,
I have to come down here to get that.
okay.
So
you-
if I were redesigning this website, my instinct would be to change this section and just try to bring the problem right up top.
Okay,
Yeah,
good, thank you.
I'm glad you asked that. I think we should move on to the next one. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right, lovely. So let's look at John's. I will do the same thing. I will pop the page up. You all have the link if you like to look in your own monitor. And I will show you about as much as I think a new visitor would look at, which is probably this much, but I'll be generous and give us a little half of a scroll, maybe down to here. It's always hard to go, but I wrote so much more.
Is this a business?
I think he's talking about our government.
Thank you for not answering right away, John. We will have you answer in just a moment. But this is the moment to find out what people can intuit, not knowing anything at all.
So the action is clear. Discover the whispers. I think the button, right? Like front and center.
Discover the whisperers, yeah.
Do you think it's clear, Karen, or do you think it's easy to find?
Yeah, I do, because it's so clean around it.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole topic just makes me like want to cry. Like this
Yeah.
is yes, please.
Yeah, there's a couple of people on this call today who I think are going to need to connect
Mhm.
one-on-one at some point and talk
Yeah.
more. There's some shared values on this call.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, my 2 cents would be, it is very easy to tell that what he wants me to do is click that big gray button in the middle.
Mhm.
It is totally unclear to me what's going to happen when I click it.
Mhm.
So the bet that is being made here is that my curiosity will be more powerful than my anxiety. My anxiety that says, I don't know what's going to happen, I'm not going to do it, versus my curiosity that says, I don't know what's going to happen, I am going to do it. Because I
Again-
know, John, that is a bet that he makes a lot. He is a creative like I am, and that is his instinct. His instinct is to string people along with a narrative rather than to just skip right to the end of the story right away. I sympathize with that. So action, person, and reason. Is there a reason to click that button? Anybody want to speak to that?
I'm not sure if this is about him promoting his ideas about integrity, or if it's a consulting business, or what.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I would click it is to unravel the mystery behind the page, I think, which I think is a good reason to click something. But yeah, I agree. I wasn't 100% sure what I was clicking into or why I was clicking it. Or what the business or maybe a book. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
And so much depends, right, on what you already know before you land here.
Yeah.
The context is everything.
Yep.
The font is a little hard to read for me.
That's fair.
It's small, where it says reimagine integrity. If
Yeah.
that could be increased
Yeah.
a bit,
Just a little bigger.
yes, yeah. Another thing that, and this is just totally judgment call,
Mm.
that I would like to see another color other than the brown. I
Mm.
like the graphic, but it's almost lost. And the brown feels intense and something not as dark, I'd say.
Hmm.
It's totally my opinion, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how that was my response to it when you opened it up.
I agree. A little dreary and maybe a little counter to the topic. Like, although it does match longing.
Does anybody want to try and answer the person question? I don't think we've taken a swing at that yet. Who
Like,
is this for?
Is this a business?
Someone who wants to be more in integrity is my guess.
So much like the Knowledge for Impact site, we are asking the person to self-identify based on a value rather than based
Mhm.
on a role or a title or a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Although there is some pretty good problem language down here.
Yeah.
So maybe not just a value, maybe a problem too.
Yeah, that seems really clear. Like, oh, these are the consequences of being in a lack of integrity. Oh, yes.
Hmm?
This helps me. Well, this gives me one
Mhm.
idea
Yep.
of who the person is. And then this makes me think a little bit about it differently. Again, I know John's work, so I get it.
Yeah, I was thinking a business leader managing their company. That's kind of how I saw it. Want to learn integrity and better leadership, maybe.
Yeah.
Sort of leadership coaching was,
So we're having trouble guessing what I would call the market category. Like, what bucket should I put this in my brain? What budget line is this going to come out of when I interact with this website?
Right.
Is it my personal finances, my business finances? Is it what line do I have to put it? John, why don't you tell us, how you want to answer those questions? What's the action you're hoping people to take, and what context would you give us?
Yeah, so a little bit of the confusion is a bit by design in the sense that I want the site to meet you where you are, who you are, and how you are. And so very much like Paula, I don't have this site for people to come to it cold. So somebody might have experienced one of my whispers of integrity because somebody referred it to them. So they've got a little bit of a context coming in. The reason the whispers aren't like Discover the Whispers, there's whispers of integrity, whispers of wholeness, and that page would tell you more about it and encourage you to sign up for those to get those every day. It's interesting because I'm not really trying to sell something here because I want people to first discover and say, you know what, this is naming what I'm feeling, whether it's what they're feeling about our country or their company or their family or their life. So I'm leaving it vague enough where it actually meets them where they are. Now, I built this with the idea because people say, and I've not really thought about this way before, but home pages, people are more in a habit of scrolling because of social media. So some of that gets answered pretty quickly in the headlines scrolling down. So I hear you, Benji, they may not, but I've really tried to name why this, why now, who specifically is this
There we are.
for
Yep.
leaders.
Okay.
It
Here we
all
go.
becomes clear in this section, doesn't it, gang?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And then if you scroll just a little bit further, it does say, okay, who is this person? That again
Yeah.
goes back to when you were talking about Paula,
Okay.
is they may have met John, or they may have gotten a whisper of integrity. They don't know who John is. So I tried to include both so it reminds them, yeah, I'm in the right place, I guess. That's the reason I want that on there. And then if you go further down, I tried to make it real clear. That's the invitation, whether it's to take the assessment, look at the books, what is the message? And then finally, it's pretty clear how to get in touch with me just with a contact form. I guess first it invites you to the whispers in case you didn't click it at the top. But then at the bottom is a big contact form, and that appears on several places on the website.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. And well, I don't know if it was you that used the word mystery, and Benji knows me well enough. To me, this topic is a mystery. So it by definition doesn't, in fact, I even wrote down, Benji, and this is so counter. I wrote down sometimes on this specific topic, clarity or certainty is the roadblock to the new discovery. And so in some ways, it self-assesses out those that think they've got it figured out versus those that, wow, what is this longing? Man, I am longing. Because the work actually, that's why it's Integrity Reimagined, actually undoes everything you've ever talked about or thought about integrity. It's not honesty, not what you do when no one's looking. Those are lagging indicators. But and so it's partly designed to create a sense of mystery and self-assess out those that are looking for the silver bullet, or they're looking, because if you're looking for the silver bullet and you're wired that way, you're probably not going to enjoy this work. In fact, the whispers would probably mess with you a little too much. You may not quite be ready for that. So part of that is by design. But interesting enough, my brother, who's 5 years older than me, actually, when he first saw it, he said, I don't know what to do. And I thought, oh, Benji's going to love that line. So
Yeah, I would say, I would say this site is not a funnel; it's a filter. And as long as you know that and you're doing that deliberately, that's okay. But this is not designed to draw people in and make it easy for them to take action. It's actually more likely to push people away unless they're the right people. Like you're making sure that only the certain shape of person gets into that newsletter. So like I want to say for the group, right? Like if this said, just Discover the Whispers is a newsletter, right? It's the email list.
Well, actually, the tagline that you get all the time says, not a newsletter, not a newsletter, not an email. It's a practice. So it's really
There it is again.
Um,
Not
and-
an email, not a newsletter. It's a practice.
yeah,
But it is something that comes in my inbox every week.
every day, every week.
Every day. Yeah.
Which, that I went from once a month newsletter to every day. So I guess the one thing I'd say here, Benji, my desire, it's not about go buy the book or hire me to speak. It's really what I really, really want them to do is sign up for the Whispers, because to me, the Whispers will help them figure out, am I ready for this? Is this right for me? So that really is and I'm looking at the font today. I appreciate that because I need a little bit bigger font. so anyway, that's why that really is what I want them to do, is to sign up for the Whispers and let the Whispers take them on a journey that hopefully that may lead them to the book, or say, man, we got to have John come in and speak to our leadership team. So it is a business. I do speak for a living, author, but I'm really trying more to, Benji, we've talked about this, to be a steward of the message that I've been working on for 15 years. And I just really want the content to be able to flow out without me going out and speaking about it, that it begins to take a life of its own. So that's why the Whispers are probably the best action I can hope for somebody to take. So
This is what we need here. This is what's going to get people to make a choice about whether to sign up or not. What do I get if I put my name in this box? You get some things flowing into your inbox, this, and this. It's
Yeah.
still a little vague, John, but
That font, the font could be a little bigger on that as well.
okay.
yeah, and this is not an absolute. We can only give our input. But if you wanted the maximum number of people from this homepage to sign up for the Whispers, making this button say "Get the daily email" will get more clicks than making it say "Discover the Whispers." However, they won't be coming because of curiosity. They'll be coming for another reason. So if you only want the curious people, like Will, then this is what does it to you. But again, this is acting as a filter to keep the wrong people out, rather than as a funnel to pull in as many people as possible. It isn't clear, and I think that's a choice that you've made. I'm sort of calling it out for the rest of the group. If it wasn't intentional, then walk it back. But if it was intentional, then I don't want to tell you it was the wrong choice. It's your choice to make. Does that make sense, John?
Yeah, very much
Yeah.
so. Yeah, that's very helpful.
Yeah. And I still want some copy, whether it's here or on the other page. I want some copy telling me why I would want to sign up for the Whispers. If that's the main thing you're asking people to do, it's a feeling here, but I want to tell me how it's gonna help me. It's gonna be daily. I'm gonna feel more encouraged every day when I read it, or something. Like, what is the me before the Whispers comes in my inbox, and what is the me after the Whispers? That's the transformation you're asking me to take.
Okay.
I sort of want that called out somewhere here so that I click the button, and especially I want it called out here. I haven't read this whole thing. I'm not saying it isn't. This is a lot to read, but I kind of want it called out here as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good. Can I say one more thing, and maybe on the Discover the Whispers back on the homepage is I could put that line of Discover the Whispers. They're not a newsletter. They're not a email. They're a practice, which may, if I'm curious, maybe, oh, well, what's that about? That original narrative, you're right. It's way too much narrative, and I want to go back and redo it. That was initially going out when I was trying to convert the newsletter subscribers to it. I was talking to a 30-something, and I really found this pretty profound. He's a pretty deep thinker, because I was trying to name the problem with the fragmentation. And this was the change I was going to make, Benji. I just didn't get to. It's been a crazy week. But he actually said, John, the one I would worry more about is the one that doesn't feel the pain. They become so used to fragmentation that they are numb, and that's a bigger problem. And so he wasn't saying don't take the other out, but I thought, wow, that's pretty profound, because they actually are almost proud of being able to operate within division and fragmentation, not realizing that, no, you're not whole. So
that's an interesting insight, actually. I don't think you're wrong.
I think the graphics are gorgeous.
I agree.
Lovely.
It's
Oh,
beautiful.
So I want to say something about that too, if I may, before we move on. I also really like the graphics, and I don't mind the color. I find this whole design very zen, very relaxing.
Soothing. Yeah.
It gives me a feeling.
Yes.
However, what's really bugging me, John, is that even though it makes me feel zen, I would rather see your photo. Like, this could be anybody's website. And Paula, I kind of felt the same way with you. I didn't know that Knowledge for Impact was just you, or was your company. It sort of could be anybody. And if you're the person I've met and you've told me to come here, there's nothing more compelling than a person. So I felt a little torn, John, because your design choices made me feel good, but I missed you, if that makes sense. And you're the heart of what all of this is.
Well,
I don't think I can resolve that right now, but I wanted to call that out.
Just
yeah.
just
I would
AI
hope it-
yourself like sitting in a chair to the right over there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's all going to be AI eventually. Right? You know, that's a hard one for me, Benji, because it's not about me. It's about integrity and the topic. And I want that to be the draw. I'm just the steward of the conversation.
Yeah.
But what I might consider if you go down is maybe putting my picture where it is, I have an icon, I think, rather than me.
Yeah.
Maybe at least put me there and just tone it the same way.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that
I
is
totally
kind of a
conversation.
weird. That is kind of a weird.
I mean, if
image
you want
for-
the focus off of you, you could be part of a group so that it shows it's a conversation. There's other ways to show that. You have made a really strong design choice here, and so I love how coherent it is. I love that you've made a choice and leaned into that choice. And so what I don't want to tell you is to like half-ass it, because in some ways it would disrupt to have a snapshot of you here that's different from everything else.
Mhm.
But I guess I just sort of wanted to call that out. Like, it's another thing that for me makes it a filter instead of a funnel. The person is going to draw me in and welcome me more.
Yeah, it gets a little tricky because I know in my newsletter back when I had the porch, it didn't have my picture on it, and people would sign up for it,
Yeah.
and then they would unsubscribe saying, "I never signed up for this," thinking they didn't recognize it was John Blumberg's newsletter. Right?
Yeah.
That
I guarantee that's happening with your site and with Paula's. People are going there
Mhm.
because you told them to go there, and then they're like, "Oh, I don't think this is it."
My
We do not
pictures
think
are-
very hard when we're online.
My picture's on the about page.
Oh, I'm sure it is, and John's is too here on the about.
Oh, okay.
But we want to make it easy. That's why I only let you look at the first scroll on this thing. To make it easy.
Okay.
Let's move on and let's do Chris's. Can we do that?
Huh?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. So this is marvelous because Chris sent us. Oh, I lost the link. Hold on, let me go find it again. Did I put it in the chat? Yeah. Here we go. Everybody see that?
Mhm.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I'll zoom a little. So obviously not a website. Chris has
Yeah.
got a sales page or something. Again, I'm not even going to let him talk about what it is until later. But clearly, it's not a website. This is a flyer that you would probably would have a physical presence, and you would be handed, or maybe you would be emailed a PDF link. So right away, different context. Because it's not, I'm actually going to cheat a little bit. Because it's not a website, I think people are more likely to at least scan the whole thing. If somebody handed me a physical printout, I would at least flip it over and glance at the back. Can't promise I would read it all, especially this, which is dense. Chris already knows that.
Is this
But
something that typically would be printed out and handed like at a conference?
I think Chris, is that true? I think it would be printed and handed out. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So unlike a website where people might not scroll very far before they decide to go back, I think we're in a different mindset when we're looking at a tool like this. And I do think we would at least scan the whole thing. So for example, I'm okay that he's got a very big call to action way down here instead of, at the top right corner or something like I'd expect on a website. I think it still works.
I would say it's very dense, but right at the top is the draw to say, maybe I need to read this because average operating profit improvement of 220%. I would say, this is worth digging in a little bit too. It might be a layered where it's not so dense right at the beginning, but if we go back to those questions, Benji, I would say, wow, it grabs you immediately because it's saying dramatically improve, and then it even quantifies that.
Mm-hmm.
Could be just because I'm from this world, but this makes complete sense to me and it flows well. So.
Wow. I love that.
Yes, and it says who they are, management consulting firm. Okay. And who they're focused towards. Underperforming privately held companies. It's very clear,
Mhm.
very specific, and that's helpful.
The only thing I wonder about is this is who we are. is more what is the problem. Maybe that's understood by the comment at the top. Everybody, this is like anybody that wants to improve. Yeah, I guess I would be, what's the problem this is solving? And I guess that actually answers it because of just the drastic improvement there. But it is a lot about who we are. I mean, I haven't read it, so I can't tell if this is what's going to happen or, but this is what we've done. This is the proof in the pudding is very on that left, our results, our people, our approach. It's pretty straightforward there, but it's about growth strategy partners, not about me.
I think the message is super clear to me, and it is dense, but I think the information is also necessary. My only complaint would just be the design. That would be my only thing. It just kind of looks a little dated to me. But aside from that, I thoroughly understand the message.
Can you say any more about that, Will?
About the design?
Yeah.
Boxy, kind of, you got the early 2000s kind of colors here. The picture on the top left doesn't really flow with the overall marketing deck to me. I think just some, minor design improvements I think would help it a lot.
All right, let me ask our 3 questions. What's the action? I called that out already. That's crystal clear here at the end. Call us with a big fat phone number, and I like that he's got it here next to his picture as well. What is the reason and what is the person? Does anybody want it? You all said it was clear, but I didn't hear anybody actually answer it. It might help if you say it's clear and then you say the wrong answer. That'll be information for Chris. So, what is the reason and what's the person?
Yeah, I think the person is, CEO who's looking to grow their business in order to exit over, a few years, 3 years or so. And I mean, that's kind of answers both of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, grow value was my thing, my answer.
So the reason is this
The
right
reason
here.
is to grow the value of my, yeah.
Dramatically improve the value.
And privately held, underperforming privately held companies into sustainable, highly profitable ones.
Yeah.
So he's segmented it that way. Now, what I'm curious about is what's this going to be used for? And is it part of the website? Is it something that's going to be, I don't know, but
All right,
that
Chris,
would
I think
be
we're ready for you to open up your mic and tell us tell us if we got the right answers and how this fits in your overall usage. What do you want people to do?
So it's a handout we created 4 years ago, which is why it's dated. I've been the CEO of a company for the last 3 years, and in February, my website, Growth Strategy Partners, was more outdated than this, so I didn't want to resurrect that. So I cleaned up this flyer in the short term, which is why it's old and whatever. It is, and you have more time to read it. You'll see down below, it's targeted at 2 people. Owners are one of them, but professional service providers, bankers, lawyers, and wealth advisors that are in the transaction space are also, which is why it says dramatically improve the value of a business, not your business, because we're trying to address both of those markets, right? And so I was talking to Benjie, and he mentioned this, and I said, well, this is all I got right now, because the website you'd have even more fun with. So
Benjie, do you build websites?
Do I? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my engagements are typically fix the strategy first, which might be a 1-day session, or it might be a 3-month consulting engagement. Depends on the size of the firm and how many people need to be on board. So strategy includes positioning, like what market are we in and how are we going to win in that market? And then we move into the creative. Once we have that nailed down, we can build messaging around it. So then we typically build websites and whatever other tools they need fairly quickly.
There's if you scroll down, there's something about the font where, yeah, yeah, right there. That's kind of odd. That one
This one?
that one section where Chris talks about himself, the font is odd compared to the font on the rest of it, and also
The
because
line
there's
spacing, yeah.
the graphic behind it. So
I had Claude make some edits to me quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, she's not wrong. I mean, if a designer
No,
spent
yep.
15 minutes
Yep.
with this, yeah, probably the first thing they would do is
Yep.
you just have a
Yeah.
lot of different font sizes.
Actually, I did it. I actually got a copy of Adobe and I did it. So I'm an engineer,
Oh.
so I have no
Yeah.
idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's why I
Good
did
for
that.
you,
Well,
Chris.
Let me give my 2 cents if I can, because Chris, what you said about this having 2 audiences unpacked a lot for me. Tell me if I heard this right. This is for CEOs and for the wealth managers who might refer you to the CEOs.
Right.
Is that right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. What I see in this is that it is. How many of y'all are familiar with story brand? If I say that term, do people know what that is?
Yeah.
I gotta go to the gallery. Should I see how many hands are up? Hands up if you know what story brand is. Yeah, okay, that's about what I thought. About half of us. Very popular marketing structure to the point that it's not just guys like me that know it, but it's half of the people in this room know about Don Miller's story brand structure. The idea is like build your marketing around a story. There are, he says, 7 elements you want to have, but the core ones are like, who's the main character in the story? That's always your client. What is the problem that main character has? That here is some version of dramatically improving the value of the business. They don't know how to do it or whatever like that. That person has a problem. They meet a guide, the Obi-Wan Kenobi type, who then gives them a plan to fix the business. And typically, Don Miller, a story brand, will have you sort of build your website in some version of that. All that to say this, Chris, this flyer is all guide section to me. Like it's all about you and why you can solve the problem. It's not very much about the person and the problem they have. That problem is implied and very powerfully up here. Like I think it's present, but the hero of the story is almost entirely absent. And you just told me why. It's because you were trying to have 2 of them, to ride 2 horses at once. And so you couldn't be really specific about who they are. This would be more convincing if you chose one of those. You can make 2 flyers if you have to, but my instinct says if you make it for the CEO, the wealth manager will get it. But if you chose one of them and you made this section be about them instead of you, so instead of our results, our people, our approach, which is all about you and kind of gets me bored or gets me thinking you're full of yourself, you make it about this is the problem the CEO has. This is how they solve it, right? Like Luke is going to destroy the Death Star. Obi-Wan Kenobi's not going to do it. Obi-Wan's just going to tell him use the Force over and over. You're the guy that's saying use the Force. So you make this section like, here's how you're going to grow the value of your business. Here's how you're going to get from this amount to this amount or whatever. I'm not reading all the details either, but I suspect the content here is good. I suspect if you just framed it as them taking the action and having the success, and then down here, you are still the guide who's showing them how to do it. They can't do it without you because they don't know how to use the Force. But you're going to make them do it themselves. It puts them in a more powerful place, and it puts them in a place of being more engaged and more likely to act because now they're the hero of the story. Does that do anything for you?
Very much. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's really a rewrite. I mean, it might change some of the content that's here. It might not. But that is probably the big thing that stood out to me. It does mean making a commitment because you can't do it about both people at once. So now I totally get why you landed here.
Yep.
But my instinct is I'm thinking that you're often your referral partner. It's kind of like a retailer, right? Like you do have to sell to Walmart before you can sell to Walmart's buyers. But usually if Walmart sees that all the buyers want what you offer, Walmart will stock you. I think the wealth manager will probably help you if they see you communicating well to the CEO. So I think you're probably safe aiming at your end user.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Any other, we're coming close on time. Any other questions or comments? Karen, we're going to have to wait on yours.
It's fine.
We
Yeah, no, this was
we
so
ran out of time.
good.
And
This
I know
was
you have
so
a hard
good.
stop at 1.
I
otherwise it's too
do.
late
I
now.
do.
You
Yeah.
probably got a little bit of insight.
Totally.
From this.
No, this is always good. And it's, kindred spirits here, indeed.
Yeah, I think so. There's a bunch of you all who should meet. If you want to be introduced, ask me. But my trick is I always take a screenshot of who was in attendance at the Zoom call, and then I just find them on LinkedIn. But a bunch of you all would get along for various reasons if you haven't met. So I think you should do that. And I'll wrap it there unless there's anything else.
Well, this was very insightful and
Good.
helpful. Benji, thank you for the invite.
Thank
My
you,
pleasure.
Benji,
Very
so
much.
much.
Thank you
I'm
so
very glad.